Mauritius. From the sky, Mauritius glimmers like a jewel, ringed by glowing coral reefs, dotted with fishing boats, and crowned by the basalt peak of Morne, Brabant, its shadow brushing the famous underwater waterfall where the ocean seems to slip over the world's edge. Mauritius, an island country in the Indian Ocean, is a living mosaic where Africa, India, China, and Europe meet. Every day, the island retells its history in faces, flavors, and rituals. The island is a wealth of landmarks. Old sugar estates, blue harbors busy with glass-bottom boats, historic colonial mansions, beautiful shade gardens, and pristine beaches. Mauritius is a treasury of delights for every sense. Taste the fire of street curries, the zing of pickled fruit, the sweetness of Mauritian Napolitane at a roadside stall. Breathe in incense and sea air among temple bells. Run your fingers across volcanic rock, or feel the beat of Sega music as dancers step in rhythm along the sand. Here, every sunrise brings another discovery. A new vista from the heights of Black River Gorges. A blending of voices at Diwali or Chinese New Year. Mauritius is like another world. A world in miniature, shaped by journeys, faith, resilience, and joy. And from first light to last lantern, it's always an open invitation to step in and make it a part of your own. This is Mauritius. Colonial homes, sugar estates, and the path to independence. Some of Mauritius's most remarkable sights are the grand homes, sugar mills, and stone churches that dot the landscape, give witness to centuries of empires and transformation. Venture into the northern plains and Mocha Mountains, and you'll find the island's most iconic colonial mansions. Château de la Bourdonnais, encircled by old orchards and rows of towering palms, is a striking vision of 19th century plantation wealth. Long verandas catch the breeze, antique carriages rest near the entrance, and tropical gardens color the grounds. Step inside, and portrait galleries, gilded mirrors, and vintage rum barrels speak of planters and their families. Reminders of the island's foundation in sugarcane cropping. Follow the winding drive to Eureka House, one of the best preserved Creole mansions on the island. Its wraparound porches and gingerbread details overlooking mountain valleys and rushing rivers. The gardens stretch with century-old mangoes and flamboyant trees. Outbuildings and stone kitchens evoke the daily rhythm of estate life. But the historic beauty hides a darker side. French and then British rule enslaved Africans and Malagasy people. These grand homes were surrounded by fields worked first by slaves, then by thousands of indentured Indian laborers who planted, cut, and hauled sugarcane through back-breaking effort. Towering stone chimneys, some still standing in fields at l'Aventure de Sucre, now a museum, Belle Ombre and Beau Plan, show where the cane was processed into sugar and rum, and where island fortunes rose and fell with the world's taste for sweetness. French rule, visible in town names and street signs, brought ornate Catholic churches like the Coral Stone Chapel at Cap Malheureux, its vivid red roof a northern landmark. British rule, arriving in 1810, brought formal schools, sporting grounds, and the imposing citadel, Fort Adelaide, above Port Louis, still watching over the city's patchwork of old and new. Slavery ended in 1835 under British rule, and soon after, ships carried Indian families to Mauritius, marking the beginning of a new era. The first site for what Britain called the Great Experiment in the use of free labor to replace slaves. Hindu temples, mosques with slender minarets, and roadside Chinese pagodas soon became part of the island's landscape, each now a well-documented feature of Mauritian towns and villages. Walk through the lanes of Apravasi Ghat in Port Louis, now a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and see the stone steps where Indian laborers disembarked from long voyages to start new lives on the sugar estates. Restored dormitories and arches mark their arrival. Commemorative plaques and murals paint a picture for visitors to reflect on this crossroads of both suffering and hope. In the fields, you can still see the sugar cane being cut and bundled each harvest, scenes as old as sugar in Mauritius. As the 20th century progressed, myriad communities, Creole, Indian, Chinese, Franco-Mauritian, and others, rose to demand equality and self-governance. On March 12, 1968, Mauritians celebrated their first day of independence with crowds waving flags, traditional Sega musicians and dancers awakening the capital with joyful rhythm. Today, the legacy of these tumultuous centuries is visible everywhere. In museum halls lined with sugar loaves and rum barrels, in family shrines beside colonial staircases, in vibrant festivals where descendants of planters, workers, and migrants dance together. The island's restored houses, old chimneys, and busy markets are alive with memory, resilience, and the spirit of a nation that remade itself from the ground up. To explore Mauritius's colonial estates and sugar factories is to travel through chapters of ambition, hardship, beauty, and the long journey to freedom. The coastline and iconic beaches. Mauritius's coastline unfolds a beautiful ribbon of pristine sands, making nearly 205 miles of shore. In the north, Grand Bay is where Mauritian leisure and lively energy meet. The bay is a busy spot, packed with pleasure boats and glass-bottom tours gliding along the clear waters just above playful fish and colorful coral. Travel east, and the hush of Belle Mer instills a sense of tranquility. At dawn, local fishermen in pirogues, their wooden boats painted with ancestral symbols, slip through pastel water. Belle Mer shines as a sunrise montage. Yoga sessions on quiet sand. The slow drift of paddleboarders, cyclists riding parallel to the surf. Kite surfers skim the air with arcs of bold color as boards skip across the wind-whipped shallows. At the heart of the Northwest lies Trou au Biche. Famed for its calm water and long, shaded shore, it's the family favorite and a local institution. These waters are a snorkeler's paradise, with reefs only meters from the sand and an ocean of wildlife at the diver's fingertips. Down the west coast, Flicon-Flac comes alive with surfers, scuba divers, and dolphin and whale watching tours. The Filao trees offer gentle shade over endless stretches of powdery sand. Sunsets on the Mauritius beaches are dazzling, the sky moving from orange to violet as the last swimmers head in. As night falls, both Grand Bay and Flicon-Flac sparkle with food stalls and beach bars, each promising a new exotic cocktail, a new friend, or another dance set to the gentle fade of the day. To the southwest lies Le Morne Peninsula, the island's crown and its emotional core. Here, the basalt peak of Le Morne, Brabant, takes center stage, a beacon for sailors, a haven for history, and a UNESCO World Heritage Site renowned worldwide. Its mountain casts a cool shadow over the Emerald Lagoon. From above, the famous underwater waterfall illusion is a standout. Currents sweeping sand into plumes so vivid they mimic a waterfall have become legend. Beyond the famous names, Mauritius's coast is a necklace strung with quieter treasures. The coral-fringed coves of Blue Bay and Pointe des Nids to the southeast, where every snorkeler's mask captures a new underwater ballet. The surf breaks at Tamarin in the southwest, a timeless paradise for those chasing the perfect wave. The Tamarin surf is steady and presents the perfect wave for both beginners and experienced surfers. Each week, fishermen cast nets by hand from the beaches of Mahabourg, their silhouettes sharp against the flamingo pink dusk in the centuries-old traditions of island fishing. In quiet inlets, Mauritian fishers set out in their brightly painted pirogues, often powered by sail or paddle. They practice techniques passed down through generations, hand-lining for grouper and snapper, netting octopus in the rocky shallows, and using ingeniously camouflaged woven fish traps. Visitors can try their hand at deep-sea fishing with marlin, tuna, and wahoo, waiting in the depths. The coast of Mauritius is pure possibility. It's a living canvas, refreshed each day. Sandbars that come and go with the tide, laughter carried on salt wind, and colors that exist nowhere else in the world. For the adventurous spirit, this is an endless invitation to see, to breathe, and to belong. The underwater world. Reefs, dolphins, and waterfalls. Beneath the sunlit surface, Mauritius reveals a secret realm where the color and variety of life seem limitless. The island's coral reefs form sheltered lagoons and dramatic drop-offs, offering both tranquil playgrounds for snorkelers and thrilling descents for daring divers. Snorkel or dive the turquoise lagoons over honeycomb reefs and try your hand at underwater photography where neon parrotfish dart between coral branches, shoals of silvery surgeonfish shift as one, and the slow, stately hawksbill turtles glide just above living coral. At the Blue Bay Marine Park, located on the southeast coast, stands the country's best-known window into this world. All you need is a mask and snorkel to join this underwater wonderland. Coral gardens stretch across the lagoon. Table corals, branching staghorns, purple-tipped sea fans, and intricate brain corals, all of which host a riot of species. Butterfly fish, angelfish, damselfish, and tangs flicker in the sunlight while trumpetfish and wrasses patrol the nooks. Occasionally, you'll spot a true prize as a moray eel slips from rocky shadows, or an octopus unfurls across the sand, showing a mastery of camouflage. Mauritius's western coast is renowned for its marine mammals. Off the beaches of Flic-en-Flac and Tamarin, pods of spinner and bottlenose dolphins cut through dawn-lit waves. In deeper waters, humpback whales migrate seasonally, and patient crews in zodiac boats may glimpse the sweep of a vast tail framed against the open sea. Your best bet for catching sight of these fellow travelers is to take a tour boat and a pair of binoculars. For divers, deeper reef sites like Cathedral near Flic-en-Flac reveal dramatic caverns and overhangs filled with light, surrounded by kingfish, groupers, and schools of jacks. Shoals of barracuda lurk in the blue, while eagle rays drift overhead, their spotted wings casting fleeting shadows on the sand. Night brings a new cast of creatures. Lobsters and slipper crabs on the hunt, iridescent squid flashing signals, and luminescent plankton sparkling in blue-green pulses with every movement. Off Le Morne, the underwater waterfall illusion is the island's signature visual attraction. Sand and silt fall away from the shelf to tumble toward the ocean's boiling depths. The constant flow of silt looks like a waterfall in an impossible location, under the ocean's surface. Wildlife and conservation. Mauritius flourishes with vibrant and rare wildlife, much of it unique to the island and its protected islets. East of the central coast, Île aux Aigrettes provides a living sanctuary. Stroll the shaded trails of this conserved island beneath ebony and tamarind trees, and you'll encounter hulking Aldabra giant tortoises, their weathered shells and serene gait a living link to prehistory. Conservationists here work daily to protect these gentle giants, who were brought in as a replacement for the native giant tortoises that became extinct in the 18th century. These dedicated workers also protect pink pigeons, Mauritian photies, and ornate day geckos that flash green and gold in the sun. The conservation story continues underwater, where coral reefs sparkle in crystal lagoons. Teams of scientists don wetsuits and plant new coral fragments onto outcrops, restoring damaged gardens and welcoming clouds of butterfly fish and surgeonfish to the shallows. Vibrant before and after images of thriving reefs tell a tale of hope. Above the forest canopy in the Black River gorges, bird watchers and hikers peer skyward in search of the emerald flash of the Mauritius kestrel, a bird once nearly lost, now a symbol of resilience. Each moment of the kestrel's flight celebrates the dedicated cooperative work between generations of islanders and biologists, proving that Mauritius is as much a haven as a home for its precious wildlife. Sustainability and the future. Mauritius is redefining paradise through sustainability. Eco-friendly lodges nestle into forested hills and secluded coves, blending natural materials and local heritage to create havens for responsible travelers. Guest houses powered by solar panels and wind turbines reflect sunlight by day and glow with clean energy by night. In shimmering lagoons, new marine protected areas stretch like blue mosaics. Park rangers guide small groups on reef walks and turtle spotting excursions, while boats pause at no-anchor zones marked with floating buoys to safeguard delicate coral. On land, volunteers join reforestation projects, planting young ebony, palm, and sandalwood to reclaim lost canopies and attract native birds. Projects well documented in conservation galleries and documentaries. In towns and cane fields, ever more rooftops gleam with solar panels, and biodiesel refineries process sugarcane waste into green energy, signs everywhere of ingenuity and collective effort. For every traveler, these sustainability efforts are visible, tangible, and easy to join. Reminders that Mauritius's beauty is built not only on its landscapes, but on the vision and action of people caring for their island's tomorrow. Hidden corners and local moments. Beyond Mauritius's celebrated beaches and storied mansions, the island's soul quietly flourishes in small villages, tranquil harbors, untamed woodlands, and the relaxed thrum of daily life. Here, the pace eases, and the rhythms of community, craft, and nature welcome all who seek the authentic heart of the island. Start at first light along the shoreline of Mahobourg or Grand Gobe, where fishing is not just work, but tradition. Painted pirogues glide across the glassy lagoon. Nets whirl through the dawn air. Wander inland to tiny hamlets in the hills, Mocha, Plain Champagne, or the foothills near Chamarel. Terraced gardens are carved into the slopes, watched over by grandmothers sorting vanilla pods. Follow the scent of salt and wood smoke down untamed roads to the bays at Pont Denis, Post Lafayette, and Blue Bay. Head to the wilder southern villages, such as Suriname and Rivière des Anguilles, where farmers cultivate fields with pineapples, sugar, and bananas that seem to go on forever, glowing in the late afternoon sun. In these close-knit neighborhoods, traditions thrive. Spontaneous Sega parties spark up in village squares, and impromptu cricket games take over sandy alleys. Village fetes mark the seasons with strings of lanterns, tables heaped with sweetmeats and pastries, and everyone, old and young, joining lantern-lit parades, folk songs, and communal feasts. Wherever you go, the warmth of Mauritian hospitality is unmistakable. Village festivals, fireside gatherings, and moments of peaceful work reveal a pride as deep as the ocean and as enduring as the volcanic hills. As night falls, it's easy to feel that time itself has slowed. In these hidden corners and local moments, you discover not just the sights, but the spirit of Mauritius, a place where community, craft, memory, and welcome are the island's purest gifts, visible and open for all who wish to see. Le Morne, Brabant, and the wild south. In the southwest corner of Mauritius, Le Morne, Brabant, rises with striking authority. A solitary basalt peak carved by wind and weather, its cliffs cloaked in green and cloud. The view from above is unforgettable. The mountain's broad shoulder falls away to a turquoise lagoon, and the legendary underwater waterfall illusion, surrounded by breakers where the island's wild soul meets the open sea. Le Morne isn't just a natural wonder, it's a pillar of Mauritian history and collective memory. Once a refuge for escaped enslaved people, known as Maroons, its caves and overhangs provided sanctuary for those fleeing plantations and seeking freedom. Today, Le Morne is honored as a UNESCO World Heritage Site, with memorials at its base and guided routes that commemorate the stories of resilience, suffering, and hope that echo through Mauritian culture. For hikers, the ascent up Le Morne's winding trails is a cinematic journey in itself. The lower slopes are lush with endemic palms, hibiscus, and wild orchids, home to native birds and the whisper of trade winds. Panoramic switchbacks reveal shifting vistas, dense forest opening to cliff-edge epics, the blue lagoon shimmering far below, and catamarans drifting along the ocean currents beneath. At the summit, the 360-degree view sweeps from the Indian Ocean's breakers to the savannas and cane fields that roll inland, a perspective that ties together past and present, wilderness and humanity. Descending from the mountain, the landscape flattens into sugarcane fields and wild coastal plains. To the south lies Chamarel, a village famous for its unique geology. Most strikingly, the seven colored earths. This natural phenomenon, found nowhere else on Earth, unveils undulating dunes in layers of ochre, crimson, violet, and blue. Capture the sunlight shifting across these surreal hills, dragonflies flickering overhead, and visitors pausing in awe at nature's artistic experiment. The nearby Chamarel Falls are an incredible spectacle, plunging nearly 330 feet in a single drop. Rainbows spiral in the spray, and lookout platforms perched above the forest canopy let travelers bottle the sound and fury of water carving the valley through deep green jungle. Wildlife finds sanctuary here as well. Echo parakeets, once nearly extinct, now flash in and out of the forest, and long-tailed macaques traverse the rocks at dawn. Birds of prey wheel on the thermals above Le Morne, while herons stalk the reed beds along the Black River. No visit is complete without moments of play. The lagoon beneath Le Morne is world-renowned for kite surfing, its steady wind and flat water drawing experts and novices from across the globe. In Le Morne and the wild south, Mauritius reveals its wilder side, where every turn in the trail offers a fresh, breathtaking perspective. Whether hiking to the summit, diving into the lagoon, or simply pausing in the shadow of ancient stone, you are reminded, here, the island's heart beats strongest, always open to those with a spirit for discovery. Grand Bassin and spiritual Mauritius. In the cool, mist-tangled highlands of south-central Mauritius, Grand Bassin, Ganga Talao, rests in the embrace of an ancient volcanic crater. The spiritual pulse of the island beats strongest here, where faith, nature, and deep earth converge. Geologically, this is a landscape shaped by fire and time. The Highland Plateau rises where ancient volcanoes once roared. More than 600,000 years ago, eruptions carved deep craters and basalt peaks. Softened with rain, forest, and the gentle growth of moss and fern, time produced the dramatic landscape we see today. Grand Bassin itself fills the bowl of one such extinct volcano. Sheer slopes rise beyond the lake, layered in volcanic basalt and honeycombed with old lava tunnels. Mist pours down from the peaks, swirling over the water and giving the entire scene an ethereal, otherworldly quality. The area's rich, dark soil, born from millennia of volcanic ash, feeds dense mountain rainforest. Walking along the crater rim, the air is thick with the scent of wet leaves and flowering trees. Lichens creep along ancient rocks, and the branches above are alive with rare birds. The echo parakeet's bright flash, pink pigeons feeding on wild berries, and sometimes the shy Mauritius kestrel perched in volcanic outcrops. The light here is constantly shifting, clouds trailing long silver shadows followed by sudden bursts of sun. Perfect for evocative time-lapse and moody landscape cinematography. Grand Bassin is a sanctuary for wildlife and for those seeking soulful solace from the city. According to legend, a priest once dreamed he saw the sacred waters of the Ganges flowing into this crater lake, forging a spiritual bridge between Mauritius and India. Over a century ago, Hindu worshippers began the tradition of pilgrimage here. Today, Ganga Talao is the beating heart of Hindu devotion on the island, especially during the festival of Mahashivaratri. In this season, roads wind with columns of pilgrims dressed in white, carrying kanwar offerings on their shoulders, enormous bamboo constructs adorned with flowers, fabric, and painted images, making for moving aerial scenes that snake through the hills. During Mahashivaratri, songs and prayers rise above the chatter of monkeys and the bell-toned rhythm of temple music. By nightfall, temple courtyards glow with lanterns and oil lamps, reflections quivering on the black volcanic water as priests lead rituals beneath the stars. The whole region hums with energy, firelight, chanting, and the lines of colored cloth kanwars streaming along crater slopes and over bridges. On quiet mornings after the festival, the magic lingers. Grand Bassin returns to tranquility, with the gentle ring of temple bells echoing over water, and the soft murmur of mantras recited by solitary figures at the shore. Statues, enormous images of Shiva, some standing 108 feet tall, and Durga astride her lion, watch over the valley, their faces wreathed in mist and devotion. These figures catch the sun, looming above the jungle, their scale and artistry dazzling to visitors and ever present in the documentaries and images that introduce Mauritius to the world. The surrounding volcanic highlands are dotted with other sacred places, a small temple beneath a spreading banyan, stone platforms to leave offerings for ancestors, and hillside shrines dusted marigold petals. These spiritual markers blur into the geological drama, a reminder that here, Earth's deep power and humanity's yearning for the divine are forever intertwined. On festival days, these roads become a mosaic of faces and voices, Hindu, Christian, Muslim, and Buddhist, all crossing the volcanic slopes in the island's spirit of unity. For bold travelers, Grand Bassin and the Highlands offer more than beauty. They reveal Mauritius's volcanic heart, layered in myth and memory, alive with sacred energy, and open to all who seek a glimpse of the island's soul, where Earth's ancient fire meets the enduring light of faith. Port Louis, city and market life. At the foot of mountain ridges where the volcanic highlands meet the Indian Ocean, Port Louis thrums with a symphony of movement. Mauritius's capital, beating heart, and crossroads of cultures for over 3 centuries. The city's port is alive with freighters and ferries, and bougainvillea spilling over colonial-era balconies. In the harbor, container ships, fishing vessels, and elegant white catamarans all share space, a hive of daily trade connecting Africa, Asia, and beyond. Port Louis is where Mauritius's vibrant diversity is most immediately visible. On a single street, you encounter minarets, pagodas, temples, spires, and the striking dome of Juma Mosque. Each building is a visual testament to the island's past migrations, tolerance, and cosmopolitan flair. In every direction, streets hum with commerce and stories, ideal for fast-paced montages of urban life. Port Louis Central Market is renowned for its pyramids of local produce, one-of-a-kind Mauritian gifts, and everything you didn't know you needed. If you can't find it here, it doesn't exist. Apravasi Ghat, the UNESCO-listed immigration depot, stands as a poignant memorial to the thousands of indentured laborers from India whose journeys shaped modern Mauritius. Walking these grounds, the stories resonate: hope, hardship, and the building of a new world in the shadow of La Citadelle, an old British fort now offering sweeping views over city and sea. By afternoon, the Cotton waterfront burst to life. Craft markets, street art performances, and alfresco dining that blends Mauritian, Chinese, Indian, and French flavors. Sailboats wander out from the marina, and buskers fill the promenade with music as shoppers and schoolchildren find shade under flamboyant trees. At sunset, Port Louis is golden, a city where tradition and modernity blend, the crowd still thronging with energy. Minarets echo the evening prayer, temple bells drift on the wind, and food vendors line the waterfront with grills and sweet snacks, their aromas mingling in the warm night. Every frame, every corner is alive, moments of color, rhythm, and a sense of movement that speak to the restless, joyful heart of Mauritius itself. Adventure and activities. For adrenaline seekers and lovers of the outdoors, Mauritius is a playground beneath sun and sky. On winding forest paths in Black River Gorges National Park, hikers trek past cascading waterfalls, over mossy stones, and beneath giant tree ferns. Mountain bikers carve through cane fields and volcanic foothills, while paragliders launch from cliffs near Morne, soaring above turquoise bays with rainbows of canopies unfurling overhead. Along the coast, deep-sea fishing boats slice through the early morning mist, anglers targeting legendary marlin, dorado, and yellowfin tuna. World-class golf courses, like those at Ile-aux-Cerfs and Heritage, unfurl greens and fairways alongside sparkling ocean, backed by jagged mountains. Kayakers and paddleboarders explore hidden mangrove creeks, snorkelers drift over coral meadows, and zipliners fly through riverside canopies in Chamarel. Each adventure captures Mauritius's wilder side, promising visual and real-world thrills for all who visit. Festivals, Sega, island culture and cuisine. Mauritius's heritage comes alive most brilliantly in its festivals, a calendar rich with music, dance, and colorful spectacles that invite both locals and visitors to join the rhythm of island life. Scene by scene, these celebrations turn villages, beaches, temples, and streets into living tapestries, all captured in swirls of 4K footage. Torchlit processions, painted faces, and the pulse of Sega drums echoing far into the night. Sega music sets the heartbeat. Born from the blending of African, Malagasy, and Creole traditions, Sega is more than a sound. It's a way of telling history, longing, and hope. Under bright moonlight or amid festival bonfires, dancers form wide circles on the sand, bare feet beating syncopated rhythms as hands and hips tell stories in motion. Drummers strike the ravane, musicians add triangle and maravan, and the call and response songs, sometimes joyous, sometimes melancholy, transport the crowd. Video captures these moments easily. Glowing faces, swirling skirts, laughter carried on sea air as new friends spin into the timeless joy of shared movement. Mauritius celebrates a dazzling mosaic of festivals, reflecting its multicultural soul. Each spring, Holi paints villages with streaks of colored powder and flying water. Children and elders alike toss bright pigments, arms outstretched in laughter, creating scenes rich in color and communal joy. Diwali transforms neighborhoods as Hindu homes and temples glow with thousands of tiny oil lamps, diyas, pathways of light leading up to elaborately decorated doorways, fireworks bursting above rooftops, and trays of sweet treats passed from neighbor to neighbor. In Chinatown and city squares, the Chinese New Year brings the island's Chinese community into vibrant focus. Dragon and lion dancers parade through the streets as drums roar and confetti rains down. Thaipusam Kavadi, a Tamil festival steeped in devotion and spectacle, is among Mauritius' most visually striking processions. Pilgrims carry ornately decorated arches, cavities, on their shoulders, some pierced in acts of personal sacrifice, all parading to the beat of drums from city to temple. Muslim communities on the island mark Eid with communal prayers, feasts, and street gatherings, while Catholic traditions flourish in the vibrant processions and masses commemorating saints and holidays at beautiful churches like Notre Dame Auxiliatrice at Cap Malheureux. A classic visual anchor with its red roof and sea backdrop. For every visitor, these festivals and cultural scenes are more than spectacle. They're invitations. The island's many strands, African, Indian, Chinese, European, come together not as a patchwork, but as living music. Sometimes wild, sometimes tender, always open to whomever wishes to dance. In Mauritius, celebration never ends. It simply changes tempo, moving in time with the tides and the turning year, and leaving its imprint on memory and in hearts. The festivities are not the only taste of Mauritius. The flavors of Mauritius are as diverse as its people. Indian and Tamil spices give curries and vin dai their signature heat. French heritage adds delicate pastries, baguettes, and buttery bouillon. Creole cooks blend African and Malagasy ingredients, eggplant, tamarind, coconut, to summon up everything from sweet pineapple curries to wild game stews. Chinese restaurants along busy roads, wonton soup, fried rice, and sizzling pepper squid are staples for generations of Mauritians. Eat anywhere, and you'll likely taste pickles, a riot of chili, lime, mango, carrot, and cabbage, served as tangy complements to any meal. Rum shops and roadside stalls offer fiery shots of local rum arrangé macerated with herbs, coconut, or vanilla, and shared as a welcome to friends and newcomers alike. For sweeter moments, there are Napolitanes, delicate sandwich cookies with bright pink icing, sweet potato cakes dusted with coconut, or fresh fruit skewered and sprinkled with spicy sugar. Sugar runs through Mauritian veins, not just in sweet pastries or hot tea, but in the legacy of the island's cane plantations. The tradition of rum making is a story in every glass. Visitors to estates such as L'Aventure de Sucre or Château de la Bourdonnais witness the whole journey. Fields of rustling cane harvested by hand, ancient rollers crushing juice into copper vats, and the slow, alchemical transformation as raw sap is distilled into fine rum. Tasting rooms, shaded by mango trees and bougainvillea, offer sips of spiced and aged rums infused with coconut, vanilla, or wild citrus. Rum making is a living link to the island's agricultural roots and spirited gatherings. Celebrate the bounty of the sea at Mauritian fishing feasts, a tradition passed down through generations. In the fishing villages of the north and west, mornings begin with boats returning to shore, nets heavy with dorado, tuna, sea bream, and octopus. On festival days, or to mark a good catch, neighbors fire up driftwood grills along the beach. Mauritius truly is an open kitchen. Steaming pots, wild gardens, shifting harvests, lively banter, and endless combinations that blur boundaries and invite everyone to the table. Here, food is not just fuel. It's a language, a celebration, and an ever-renewing bond at the soul of island life. Mauritius, where every horizon welcomes you and every moment writes a new story of wonder and belonging.